And now I will request Mr. Pankaj Satija, co-chairperson, ICC National Expert Committee on Minerals and Metals, for the final vote of thanks.
Good morning. Chief guest of this event, Dr. Saraswat. Guest of honor, Sri M. Nagaraju, Mr. Suresh Chandra Suman, Mr. Vijay Jandal, and dignitaries of the dais. We have been listening to a very enlightening speech of previous speakers, and reminds me one of the story of Gautam Buddha. So Gautam Buddha, after completing his discourse in a village, was traveling to another village, and in between those villages there was a forest. So they wanted to reach the destination before the sun sets in. So while traveling, they found a person, and Gautam Buddha disciple Anand, he asked that person, how far is the village? He told only 2 kilometers. The person smiled, Gautam Buddha smiled, and again they started traveling. After a certain distance, more than 2 kilometers, they met one old lady. And Anand again asked the same question to the old lady. She told, it's only 2 kilometers. Then the lady laughed, Gautam Buddha laughed, and then started traveling to the village. And this happened with the third person also. And similar incident happens that both of them smiled. Usually it was not desired to ask unnecessary questions to Gautam Buddha, but Anand thought that why they laughed, that made him very curious, and he asked that question to Gautam Buddha, that is not it that they are lying that every time someone says 2 kilometers and both of you are laughing? He told, I'm not lying, and they are also not lying. If they tell you the exact distance in the beginning, probably you will not start traveling. So it's an encouragement, and I also do the same way. So if you look at the history of coal mining, it has a simile with the Gautam Buddha speech. So coal mine was discovered in 1774 by the then DC of Chota Nagpur in Palamu, Mr. S.J. Hitley. And then mining started. The material were moved through ox-drawn cart to river Damodar, and then it was transported through river to Kolkata. There was an issue of regular water supply so that it became navigable, and there were instances of boat sinking. So in August 1845, out of 60 boats, 13 sank. And then government realized that it's better to put a rail line. In 1855, East Indian Railways laid the rail line. And if you see the data of 1855 to 1859, the coal production at that time increased from 100,000 to 325,000. And coal import, which were 45,000, came down to 1,000. It was also written somewhere that pithead cost was rupees 3 per ton, but coal transport up to Lahore was 30 rupees per ton. So the logistics was issued that time. It's issued this today also. But what has changed, that Indian Railway that time was the consumer of coal, as well as they needed to transport the coal. And 1857, the first independence war made British government realize that they need to have a good layout of railways for their administrative purpose. And then coal started making India an economy for different industries. The jute mills came, and the industrialization started happening in the different part of the country. And today also, if you see the political economy of coal, coal gives more than 40% revenue to the Indian Railway. And fare to freight ratio is one of the lowest in India, 0.39. So whatever we travel in Indian Railways is highly subsidized because of the coal. And this journey so far is because of, I would again draw a shlok from Bhagavad Gita, that shana shana upramit buddhi dhriti gritya. The predecessors at that point of time, step by step, started laying out the cornerstone of what we see today in coal mining. With this context, I would like to thank Dr. Saraswat, who laid out a detailed discussion on coal and the just transition aspect, the clean coal technology, coal to methanol, and how we can have integrated gasification. So thank you, sir. Mr. Nagaraju, who has been a torchbearer and had made many reforms in the coal sector, he also highlighted about the 8th tranche and the different programs of underground coal, Jharia Action Plan. And personally, all the industry people, they are aware that how Ministry of Coal has taken a lot of initiatives in incentivizing coal production in India. Mr. Abhyuday Jindal, he has been backbone of ICC, and we have always seen him encouraging the events. And he also highlighted the domestic coal requirement and being the self-dependent in the coal sector. Mr. Suman highlighted the point of NLC, how NLC is going to be contributing in the future. What personally I see that when people say that when RE will come, the coal age will be over. But when stone age was over, it doesn't mean that stone will not be used or stones are not being used. So Mr. Saraswati is there. Niti Aayog report says that coal production will peak somewhere around 2035 and 40. Then it will start tapering. So still a long way to go to increase the coal production, which was further corroborated by Mr. Nagaraju remarks also. And coal mining, as I mentioned earlier, has laid the foundation of industrialization in India. So Industry 1.0, the backbone of that mineral was coal. And today when talking about 4.0, again, mineral and other coal parameters will always contribute. And that's the way we see that when everyone has to have the energy security, which Mr. Nagaraju was mentioning, that we need to provide energy security to each and everyone. Probably if I have to conclude in a coal miner philosophy, कि तुम अपने पास रखो सूरजों का हिसाब, मुझे हर घर तक दिया जलाना है. Thank you.